PR, yes, for the capital piece.
Okay.
Voting.
So, thank you for joining us again. Alexandra, you're gonna have to walk me through the,
Alright, we're recording.
yeah, we're recording.
Are you sure? 'Cause I just want to be sure.
Yes, no, we are recording and it's on live stream for Zoom.
Perfect, alright, perfect.
Again.
I just want, alright.
Alexandra, you're gonna have to walk me through the. Is it delayed? Yeah, we're recording. Yes, no, we are recording. Live stream.
But I'll mute the YouTubes because you'll need the YouTube to.
There's a link for him.
Yeah,
There you go.
and Bruce, can you still hear us okay?
I sure can.
First meeting of this school year to order. It looks like we've got quorum with, are we up to 8-7? I think we're up to 7. Welcome everyone. Really excited to have Portia here with us to kick off our board meetings for the school year. First we can move through, and those of you who have access to your live binder, we want to vote to approve the agenda. All right. Motion to approve the agenda for today. And motion. Second.
Second.
It's approved. We also still need to vote to approve our meeting minutes from June. They're in the live binder if you need a moment to take a look at them. But I'll call a motion to approve the meeting from our last June meeting. Second. And then we can move into the issue of the like.
Yeah, go to the next slide.
Oh, sorry, I gotta do it over here.
I'll sit over here from the top.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Think we should do it here. Not really. Yeah.
It's doing it. It's on the leadership update slide. If we hit play, it's on my computer.
Right here. So the like the drive version. Okay. Yeah, it's
But-
on the slide deck.
Yeah,
Because the YouTube will record regardless.
Okay. Are the people gonna be able to see it online? Okay, hold on, let me see if I move this. Hold on, I'll just send it to you right now. I'm gonna have to share it with us, sorry. That one yours, it's like the extra computer. Let me try and present it again. Do that.
There we go. Are we still up and running on YouTube?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So first things first, introduction to the leadership team. One good thing about Perry Tree is we've all been here for a very long time. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but the whole leadership team has been here for quite a while. Introducing Portia, our new member to our leadership team, who has fit in like a glove. Came in and got started right away. First day of school, before the first day of school, even when the students and parents came back for registration, everything ran seamlessly. That was all Portia doing. So we are so excited that she's here. You all have met some of these people before. Ivy and Sellers have been here for 8 years. Well, I'm sorry, 9 years. And then Norwood, Banks, and McCaskill are newer to our leadership team, but they also have been here for since the pandemic. Okay. Now it looks like all of these people at the bottom are assistant principals. They are over different grade bands, which works out perfectly here because how it is, say for instance, McCaskill is over pre-KK. So everything pre-KK falls under McCaskill. When we do learning logs, she has to present, she has to show us her classrooms. She's responsible for the good parts of pre-KK, the bad parts of pre-KK. It all falls under her. So everyone has a responsibility in the building. And everyone's responsible for different data points. So they all have something to hold themselves accountable for every day. This is us. We have a photographer come beginning of the school year every year, take pictures for our class dojo, Gmail, and all that good stuff. All right, Portia, do you want to introduce yourself to the again?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Portia, again, incoming Chief Operating Officer. I'm super excited to be here from Boston, Massachusetts. I have over 10 years of school operations experience, mainly in the public sector. So I worked for Boston Public Schools for a number of years in various different departments, being special education, the world's, according to my boss, the nation's first social emotional learning and wellness office, and then Office of the Chief Academic Officer. Most recently, I came from Boston Collegiate Charter School, which is a small charter school in Dorchester, Massachusetts, serves about 700. The anticipated enrollment is 750, but it was about 710 when I left. I hold a Bachelor's of Arts in Sociology and Communications, Master's of School Administration and Counseling from Northeastern and UMass Boston. And then I am a mom of three. I have 3 children. My daughter is 12, my son is 10, Sebastian, and my youngest, who is in pre-K, is age 3. And again, I'm happy to be here. Please feel free to ask me any questions or if you need anything.
Wellness team. So we are very fortunate to have a lot of mental health support at Perry Street. And members of our wellness team, Mr. Cole has been here for 20 years, guys. He was here before all of us, back when Perry Street was high public charter school. So he's seen it all. Lopes is our new director of wellness. She's pretty much over all the social workers now and over like all the mental health initiatives we have going on in the building. We actually pay her an extra stipend to lead initiatives around mental health, counseling support, social work, all that good stuff. And then Dory Smith, she's a DBH worker. She doesn't work directly for Perry Street. She works for behavioral health, but she's here every single day like a Perry Street employee. They are on the ground 24/7, pulling kids, talking to kids, running groups, pulling small groups, putting out fires. Like literally, they are like some of the most supportive people here. Not even supportive, but you couldn't do this work without them. Team breakdown. Okay, so for school leaders, we have 7. I introduced you to the assistant principals, and that's them, myself, and Portia. And then for operations, Portia.
Operations, we have, so I get counted under school leaders, apparently. But operations is Miss Bell, the enrollment manager. We have the IT, Stephen, who is our IT director, super great. And then we have Miss Suzanne, who is in HR. And then our main office friends, Mr. Basie and Miss Rhonda. And then we have out of school time, our director, Miss Sloan.
And then, so we have, of course, general education teachers, but something to note here, our student support teachers, we have a lot of student support teachers and a lot of instructional aides. Because the need is that great at Perry Street. I don't know if it's unique to Perry Street, but Perry Street has a lot of students with special needs and students with disabilities, students who need additional support. And so our special education program is on the bigger end because we need all of those adults and bodies to service IEP hours to meet goals. It's not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing because we run a lab program, and basically the lab is all the kids are in small group instruction all day, and it works out that we have so many special education teachers because everyone's able to have their own lab. The kids are able to be in smaller groups because we have so many teachers in the building. Oh, then like on-site partners, school, your social worker you met already on the slide. And then, maintenance, insurance, all that good stuff. Our 10 square team. Alexander, do you want me to introduce our coaches? Okay, well, I'm gonna introduce, well, Alexander's here. Ladies, so our 10 square coaches. So what they do is they're on the ground with us, Monday, Tuesday, Friday, Thursday, Friday, so I can't remember the exact days, but they're coaching our teachers, one-on-one support for the teachers and one-on-one support for the leaders. So for example, like this is my 10 square coach. And everyone in the building has a 10 square coach. These women are phenomenal. They know so much. When we do our learning walks, it's when the whole leadership team gets together, all the 10 square coaches get together, and we go inside every single classroom to see, what we like, what needs to change, what needs to happen differently, what's great, how to celebrate teachers. Is like during our learning walks, we figure out like who's the best and who can, So these are 10 square coaches. They're here weekly, around the clock. We collaborate with them nonstop around instruction. They don't really deal with operations and portions, really just me and the teachers and coaching us around instruction and support as well as what's going on in the classroom. They're also in the classrooms, co-teaching, partner teaching with teachers, lesson plan reviewing, like they are literally like right with the assistant principals and they fit right in with our team. I'm talking too fast, but, oh, I'm sorry. The magic behind everything, our data person. We literally get Excel documents that are clean, crisp, easy to read. They crunch all the numbers for us, and then they give us, it's called like a PSP map and CAPE tracker, where everything we have on every single child is in this one Excel document. And 10square updates it regularly, so we can see, like, we just took our baseline math assessment. So they'll update the document, show where all of our kids are as well as the map for our baseline data. Our CAPE data is in there. So it's like a one-stop shop for everything Perry Street. And then this is recruitment. So for resumes, when we're hiring, Terry finds us our resumes, and we work with her every other week for hiring and talent management. All right, so the priorities for this school year. The priorities kind of stay the same sometimes, but they are a little different. So for this school year, student achievement and academic outcomes. I know when we were in that red room last year, I stood up and I said, the focus is math. Well, guess what, guys? The focus is math again. Again, math. And I have a whole math degree, guys. I cannot let the focus at my own school be math. Okay, well, the focus is math this year. Yeah. Okay, so we just want to make sure our program is rigorous and that students are being challenged, all of them at every single level. That is our goal, and why we created the lab model, is so that students can be challenged at every single level, at their learning level. Strong student and adult culture, we are working on that. We have a staff member in charge of staff wellness who has to come up with an event monthly for staff members to do. So it could be like a pottery class, or last Wednesday was Wellness Wednesday, so staff got the opportunity to go home early to get like things done, doctor's appointments and things like that. But we have it built out in the calendar to appreciate, support, highlight, celebrate staff members at least once a month in some formal way, so that we can build the adult culture in the building. A lot of it also has to do with the leadership team, making sure that we're just like transparent, on the floor, visible, so the people can see us and they can hear us, and like that has a lot to do with like just a strong adult culture. So we're working on that right now. We believe a strong adult culture immediately creates a strong kid culture. If the adults are happy, the kids are happy. It literally just trickles down just like that. So we are doing a lot of work and focus on the adults to figure out like how to make, we're not going to be happy every day. It's the nature of the work, but we can be content coming to work every single day. So our goal is to make sure the adults who come to Perry Street are content when they get here. That makes sense. Family and community engagement. We have got to do a better job at this at Perry Street prep. Why? Because I'm thinking about re-enrollment and getting families to come back year after year. So one, we're going to focus on building partnerships with families and communities to support student learning and school initiatives. We also have an adult, Ms. Brown, who is over family engagement. She's in charge of creating some type of event once a month to bring families in. And most events, we want them to come in to be able to just take pictures, put their kids on Instagram, you know, and like fun stuff. So once a month, we'll have events for families to come into the building to do something, to take a picture of something for social media, if that makes sense. Student achievement and success, how we plan on doing that. Okay, so I'm gonna go through this really quick. Data-driven instruction. We are literally using evidence-based, research-based curriculum in every single classroom to make sure that students are learning exactly what the experts say they should be learning. So that is something we're working on, data-driven instruction to make sure that basically it's curriculum-based. They're learning on their level. They're experiencing grade level content. That is also a huge like push here. Labs. I keep talking about labs because labs started 2 years ago. And labs are small groups. It's small group instruction all over the building all day. Students are in whole group for math and ELA, but for everything else, they go to a lab where they're in a small group learning at their level. And so for math and ELA, they're learning all grade level content. Every child should be exposed to grade level content every day. And then during labs, they're learning specifically what they need in order to be successful, what they need to learn and grow, which has gotten us a lot of bang for our buck. We're finding that students are growing faster because of the labs and because they are getting small group instruction that is like catered directly to them. High impact tutoring. We had high impact tutoring last year. It's coming back this year. And what that is really for the middle school. They were Blueprint came last year and they tutored our kids in math every single day. They were so helpful. We were having some issues. I don't know, Alexander, if you want to talk about the grant. We're having some issues with the grant, yada. They're coming back this year. So we will have high impact tutoring this year as well. Targeted interventions, the lab, what I was telling you all about. And then high quality professional development. That is another place 10 Square comes in because on Wednesdays, we have half days. And for the half days, the kids leave and then there's teachers participate in professional development. And so some of those days, 10 Square will lead professional development if it's on ELA and math. One day was Wellness Wednesday. One day I'll do like a huge staff icebreaker, team building activity. It just depends on the need, kind of, if that makes sense. But high quality professional development and then teacher collaboration and coaching. Teachers last year gave us feedback that they wanted to be able to collaborate this year by having, say, planning periods. And having periods together where they can talk. So we did that in the schedule. They have periods where they can collaborate and talk to each other before the year. We have not monitored the collaborating and the talking to each other yet, or formalized how they collaborate and talk to each other. We do have PLCs, professional learning communities, that the APs kind of lead. Teachers don't lead them themselves yet, but we will get to a point where the teachers will be able to lead their own PLCs. Right now, our assistant principals are leading. That's enough of them, so they can definitely the PLCs.
Can I ask a couple questions?
Absolutely.
So for the lab, is there an average group number that denotes small group?
Yes, we don't want them bigger than 5.
Okay.
We don't want them bigger than 5. It's a little awkward when it's like 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Especially when we all
Not
want
even a
bigger.
group.
Exactly. So we're trying to make it so they're like around 5 or 6.
Okay.
Not 1 or 2, because the teacher even gets confused sometimes, like, what do I do with 1 kid? Even though it's like the prime opportunity. But yeah, so 5 or 6.
Okay.
We're also trying to make it so they're not on different levels in the lab. So for example, if you are familiar with, say, for example, reading levels, it goes from A to C. We want kids who are reading on an R to be with other kids who are reading on an R. And they may have some S's in that group, but they won't have a C. So the levels will be close enough where everyone can learn at their level with being challenged and not being a distraction because it's too easy or not being a distraction because it's too hard. Everyone's right at their learning level.
And as they move through, sorry. As they move through, like, is there Do they move through small groups throughout the year?
Yes.
Like, do we find that that's like disruptive in any, I don't know if that word for disruptive, but you know what I mean? Like all that change, assuming a kid is moving levels, which is what we want, but does that also mean they're moving laterally?
Yep, so labs change, and kids know that too, that your lab can change, and most of the labs don't change because their level so well, it's like kids who are all on ours, they're all growing together. But some labs are like, oh my God, this child has like zip past everyone else, move them to a different lab. So the lab living is based on their learning levels. And it can move and change, and teacher can change. It's not a lot of change, but it's like one-offs here and there change.
Can I just say this, just having a child that goes through the levels, it's set.
Oh,
He'll come
sure,
and say, I was on S, now I'm at T, Mom, guess what, I'm at T now, you know, whatever, so they really like to know where they are, like they're aware, and be effective.
I saw Asher read in the lab yesterday. I gotta say,
Tears in your eyes.
you look like it's. Then I'm the Asher, period.
That's wonderful.
Did you talk about blueprint and then versus being folks?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So American, we partner with as well. They come and tutor our kids in the lower grades. So you'll see like college kids are walking around the building. They're pulling our kids out and giving them ELA instruction and giving them ELA tutoring in the lower grades. So Blueprint is upstairs with the big kids, and then American University comes to help with the lower grades with ELA. I think anything else? You have to.
I did have a question.
Mhm.
I know, Tennis Square has been in the building, is this a more, intense, or have they grown? Like, I know now you said they're doing Wednesdays and co-planning and things like that, has that been going on, or is that a new initiative?
Oh, that's been going on since I've been here, actually.
Yeah.
And this is my 10th year. Tennis Square has been on the ground.
So there are established relationships already with those folks.
Mhm.
That's 10 years, that's great.
What is that?
We got 10 years younger.
Right. Yeah, so Tennis Square has been here the whole time, and the consistency has been the same. Coaching teachers, coaching the leadership team, PDs on Wednesdays, and then in the building, like 3 days a week inside a classroom, giving us feedback on what they see and what they see and stuff like that.
I think I'll just say one thing. So, we have the after school learn 24 grant, and then we're waiting on a high impact grant that we'll know at the end of September. That if we receive, it will just change some of our budgeting, which we'll talk about in finance, but would only be a positive addition to our revenues.
You mentioned at the end that the PLCs are currently led by the APs, a lot of letters. And you were saying, for now, that's your words, that it's AP led. Is this an opportunity for instructors who want to stretch into leaders? Like,
Yes.
and is that intentional? Is there a roadmap?
Absolutely.
Just an idea, which is really good.
No, you're right on target, because we actually have 2 teacher leaders who also lead ELA. This thing, she's our ELA teacher, she's phenomenal. She's our ELA, she's our ELA chair. She leads PLC. She's responsible for collecting lesson plans, which is why we're first she's a teacher, and she's responsible for collecting other teachers' lesson plans. But it's just watching her grow into a leader and just unapologetically like, where's everyone's lesson plans? But
Terms of banks, who was one of the APs up there, he was a teacher.
McCaskill was a teacher, and Norwood was a teacher. Oh, McCaskill, Banks, and Norwood were all teachers.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think that's how yeah. I wasn't.
It's not like, no, they just
And the
can't.
teachers understand and accept that as like a path, or
Oh, yeah.
like feel incentivized by said path.
Absolutely, because we have like 10 chair positions. It's ELA, math, family engagement, student engagement. So there are a lot of different chair positions that people are in, that are leading. So, and the people we put in the ELA and math chair positions are people. So they can ask for lesson plans and get them faster than I can.
Thank you.
Great.
For some events that are happening this fall, we already did the welcome back meet your teacher the first day of school, was a success. And we had such a good turnout at welcome back meet your teacher night. Back to school night is Thursday, and then Spirit Week and Fall Festival. are going to be in October, and you know, we take that very seriously here.
It is stressful, let me tell you. Like, oh my gosh, it is 40 different outfits I need to figure out.
Yes, you do.
And they're trying to get a picture with friends.
Mhm.
That's adorable.
We actually cut some stuff out. This is like the naked version of our
The streamlined version. Administrative question on that, if you guys could take a pulse and figure out what might feel appropriate to extend a board invitation to, we don't want to be all of the groups all day long, but what events, time periods, et cetera, may feel appropriate for either a very like overt, we want to make the board visible, or you might be interested to come see. If somebody could just drop them on our calendars as an invite and people can opt in or opt out, that might be, I would appreciate that.
That would be wonderful.
You have an idea?
Yeah, I was gonna say a lot of the things that we have probably in the morning, or like the right? Just having like the world that the teachers are actually like, or we have met them, have put in the meeting, or, but they are acting and we have those different schools that it's nice to, kind of see them faces.
But, or even a volunteer capacity, like I want to come to be an extra pair of hands. I want
I
to go
was gonna
around
say
the
for like
building.
fall festival,
Yeah.
if like the board members came, I could like have like old t-shirts.
Someone get a shirt.
Now we know, Russ.
But yeah, anything that you guys can intentionally think of leveraging board support.
Okay, we'll definitely do that. Okay, we'll put these events on your calendar, and you all can pop in, because they're all day events, and like kids are like running around crazy all day, it's so much fun. And we'll put this on your calendar, so you all can pop in.
Thank you.
Oops.
Yeah.
Oh, no, later. Yeah. All right, so for partnerships, so as we continue to make sure that we're pouring into our babies here, we want to make sure that we're not just doing it on the academic side and in instructions, but we also want to make sure that they have services available to them all day to make this mostly like what they call in Boston a hub school. So we want to make sure that we're partnering with the community and making sure that we're able to provide as many services as possible during the school day and even after school and out of school time. You'll see in the next slide. So some of our partners right now are Restore DC, One Common Unity. They come in and do mindfulness, and sometimes they kind of coach the students on skills that they can do to become like more one with themselves. And life is a lot. Life is a lot for me as an adult. So imagine what it is for a little baby out here. So we also have sports like Warriors Youth Union Organization. They do the basketball, Genuine Foods. They provide supper to our students. So after school, they're able to have like a full dinner before they go home and a snack, which is really great. And then, we have behavioral health partners as well as mommies, which they also do help the students with mindfulness and make sure that when they're out of school time, just because it's after school doesn't mean you're still learning and you're still absorbing. We have Girls on the Run, a new partnership that Miss Sloan has brought to us, which is Girls Who Code. It's a completely online, free platform where after school, the girls learn how to basically build like video games with like certain steps. And then after that, they're able to celebrate when they make their own video game and share it with the world. We also have laundry services available to the students. So in the basement, we do have a washer and dryer. And we can use it on request, or we can use it whenever we need to. We wash uniforms. I have the lost and found. I wash things so that in case students leave their things, it's not stuck somewhere all funky somewhere one day. We also have a community food table that's out on Fridays, so families are able to grab things right in the foyer. So they have like canned goods, cereal, things like that, pastas. We also have a parent resource room where we're able to provide them with clothing, toiletries, if they need a computer. Sometimes during the school day, families need to use a computer to do something, and they'll come up to us, and we have one in the main office for them. So certain resources like that. And then Metro carts we have available to our students and families as well.
Question on the partnerships, is it groups coming to you all wanting to connect to
Mhm.
Penn Street, or you all actively being in the field to see how to address some of the other needs outside of the academic?
Both. So me coming from Boston, one of my priorities was to make sure that we're embedded in the community, because that not only helps the students, but also helps like enrollment based, because some students don't know that or families don't know the school exists because we're so saturated with charter schools. So we have to make ourselves stand out. So the longer that I'm here, the more partnerships I hope to attain over the years, and I'll be sure to update you on that. Working with Ms. Crouch here. And then for out of school time, as I was saying earlier, Ms. Crouch was speaking to the fact that, the enrollment numbers, we need to make sure that we're outside on like, it's called boots on the ground is what I call it. You need to be out there, you need to be in the community, making sure that Perry Street is known. So we're also bringing in the community events. So we have Hoop Ed, like I said, Girls on the Run. And then we have before and after care. So one thing that's great about Perry Street is that when we know that you're working families, right? So you're able to drop your child off at as early as 7 a.m., a little bit earlier, depending on when you get here and if Miss Rhonda's around in the back. But I think that's really important because families have to go to work. And so the morning we have before care, we have Franklin Commons, which is a really great program. We also have partnerships with the YMCA where they send a van here every single afternoon. They'll pick up the students and they'll be able to take the students to the after school program and watch them until 6:30, I believe is the latest. And then as Rachel was saying, we have parent engagement. So we do clothing drives, holiday bazaar, right now, coffee and convo with a teacher, or parents popping in is what it's called. So you'll see flyers for those on our website as well. And then before we've had the MPD come in and do some story reading. They bring donuts. And then apparently out here, Dunkin' Donuts does like a truck where they'll come and like give everybody coffee in the morning. So we're trying to narrow that down as well. And then we have a team dedicated for the 8th grade transition, which is not just the graduation, but they also support them after. So they're supporting them during, their 8th grade career where they're getting them high school applications. That's a big thing. And they're also making sure that their end of the year event is one to remember because they need to be sent off with style. And then they also do their 8th grade day of service, which is important because it teaches them to be well-rounded individuals. Sorry. Not hitting the slides on both computers. There you go. You guys are wondering what I'm reading. I'm sorry. It's okay. It's okay. No, I mean, I should be. Listen, she did her slides. I gotta do mine. But since we're transitioning late, did you need me to repeat anything or did you have questions here? Okay.
Very excited. I think NPD came with a band.
Oh.
Very excited.
Oh, wow. That's incredible. That's great.
Well, we had to we get that back, huh? Okay, and then in terms of mental health supports and resources, as Rachel mentioned, we do have our social worker and our school counselor, and then a partnership with the Department of Behavioral Health on site every single day, all day. But we also have after school programming or companies that come in, or partners that come in, I should say. So Fly by Light, DC Champs, and Grassroots Health are ones that are like ongoing. So I believe you've probably heard about them before. So they're still here and here to stay. All right. Favorite part of the day. Here we go. All right. So enrollment. So the student demographics, as you've seen, have changed since the pre-pandemic numbers. So every school, I believe, in the entire like world is trying to recoup from the pandemic. So we are incrementally climbing back up. As you can see, these numbers are as of Friday. So right now we currently have about 435 stage 5 students, with more coming in daily. I've seen like 2 to 3 per day. So those numbers will increase a little bit probably over the next couple of days. And then, so we have 66 in the pre-K world, K to 5, 225, 144 in 6 to 8. And then as you can see, our special education numbers have increased a little bit over time. And that's not necessarily anything like that's not similar all over the state, but yep. So do we go? Yeah, I was gonna probably have more. Yeah.
So with English language learners, for example, when they enroll, they do a home survey. and we have until the 30th of September to actually screen them whether they need services. So like all those numbers have efficacies, because I expect those numbers to change in the next month. But one thing to call your attention to is the at-risk numbers. So these are economically disadvantaged families who are receiving either SNAP benefits or TANF in the district. And you can see how that number has really climbed over time here at Perry Street. For context, the District of Columbia Charter and Public Schools have 48% on average. So we are now being considered a very high needs school here at Perry Street. We were very much before the pandemic, we were very much in line with the district average. We were a little bit higher, but not anything that raised eyebrows.
What's the average for sped?
Like
That's
14.
looking real high too.
Yeah, yeah, ours is the needs of the population. I think this is also just frankly an attribute to the really good work, right? Families talk to each other and hear about all these services that Portia and Rachel are talking about the counseling, about the food, about all these wraparound services, and are saying, I want my kid here, my kid is going to be safe here. And so
Yeah.
we're really, like, you can see in those numbers, these are real kids and real families who are saying, this is the place I want.
Yeah. And we saw that at the back to school parent event. Parents were coming up and saying things like, well, my friend said if my child needed help to come here. Like a lot of parents are saying that their friend said their child should come here. And it's like the word of mouth. So it is a good thing that people know that Perry Street is helping get all kids, every child.
And it's been a magnet for bringing in,
Mhm.
families that need to take advantage of these additional services.
Yeah, exactly.
So going on to that, I was just gonna have totally separate questions, I'll finish the point. Well, I think one of the things we're gonna have to wait and see is where the at-risk number shakes out, because after 70%, we actually get some additional funding that we didn't build into our budget, because we ended up being a high propensity school. So we're watching that number. We're gonna see, because some of what happens is families register, the district doesn't have their TANF SNAP, so we're reconciling a lot of that data right now. But it's something we're keeping a really close eye on, because that is a very high proportion relative to the city, and I think we need to name that.
Resources match the need.
That depends on who you ask.
Support the need more so than it is today.
I mean, you're talking about like $400 difference, so not, so it's not a huge difference. We get about $2,500 extra for every at-risk kid. And then that gets bumped up once you're above 70%. But it is a real need, and it shows up in the classroom, right? If you think about pre-pandemic, 1 out of 2 kids in my room might have been a family who has other needs. Now we're talking about almost 3 out of 4 kids in my classroom. And so the family needs show up very differently, and the student needs show up very differently. And I think when you talk about labs, that's one of the benefits of the labs, because you have a chance to be with that small group of kids and meet all those kids' needs, right? The DBH social worker Rachel talked about, one of the beautiful things about having her here is she is from the DC Department of Behavioral Health, which means she can connect families to DC resources in a way, and DC agencies in a way that a typical school social worker doesn't have the same access. But it is a necessary investment, and it's not an investment you see in every school, because this is not the level of support you see in every school.
And then hats off to the teachers, because as those numbers grow, as the students with disability numbers grow, and then the at-risk numbers grow, our jobs get harder. And it's like, we have such talented teachers in this building, they're able to manage like all of this at the same time. When you go through the classrooms, you see instruction happening. It's not like chaos and kids jumping all over the place. Like literally, kids are in the classroom learning and growing, and it's because the teachers are just phenomenal. So hats off to them for being able to take these numbers and roll with it. No matter what they get, they're just able to get it going.
Any more questions?
One question for you. So in terms of the sort of extracurricular benefits and services, do you find those are less enrolled than you'd like more like in the classroom, right? Folks they're kind of, the students are there and like they're going to labs, or they're going to get in this group, and like you've got kind of a captive audience, but it seems like the parents have to be more
Involved.
and
Mhm.
engaged to take full benefit of all the other services and the different programs. Do you find like you'd like to see more engagement, or that maybe some of the services that we've got tremendous
Mhm.
services, but do you think they're underutilized right now?
Some more than others. I would like to see more enrollment in different clubs and different programs that we have. But it's getting the word out there, and making sure that we're utilizing different mediums to communicate with the families and let them know that these services are here and that it's not just like childcare because you're at work, but it's actually very beneficial to your students, like holistic growth and development, right?
Right.
So a couple of things in terms of enrollment for after school care. We're working on like boosting the posts on Instagram and boosting the posts on Facebook and making sure that our signs are seen on the street, not just on Perry Street, but on the side streets
Right.
or up the street. I'm not sure if you came. Remind me what the name of that street is right there. South Dakota Ave.
Yep.
There's a couple of them up and down those streets. Miss Sloan and I are going to be working on getting out into the community and walking around. And it's nice to get out of the building, but it's also nice to see like where we are and where we could be like visible, like where it's more helpful for us to be visible. But also communities like sometimes churches have a lot of different like families go there and we can, hey, do you have a friend of a friend who needs to go to a school? We've been emailing families. So it's not just for the enrollment numbers that we would love, but also for after school.
Right.
Quarterly clubs, they change, which is great. So it's also helpful for the data for us to know what's more successful. And like we had a cosmetology club. Enrollment was low, but that doesn't mean that it's because the kids didn't want to learn about it or didn't want to participate. It could be because they can't make that decision for themselves. Their parents have to make it for them. So it's all
Right.
about our communication efforts,
Yeah.
that we're working on slowly but
Schedules
surely.
are very tough, obviously, for
Yeah.
any parent.
Right,
So-
exactly. Some people don't want to come here at 6 o'clock to pick their kids up
Right.
after they learned how to braid and put makeup on, but so it definitely changes depending on clubs.
That's terrific. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
This is what to tell you.
Feel what?
This shirt. Because one, it's cute, and then like everywhere I go, I'm getting stopped, like, oh, do you work at Perry Street? Yes, I do.
Right.
But they asked a lot about the school. Even our that school is like, we work there, tell me about it. Like, I get so many questions, whether they want to know how I got the shirt made, and made. But they ask a lot of questions, especially when they see you with the shirt on. So like, I would encourage you all, if you can get a shirt, to like wear it. Because I just thought that, Costco, whatever, my kid goes, she cheers. So like when I'm in there and you see a lot of parents with different school shirts on, the kids come in there with their school uniforms on, their conversations about the school. Like, oh, my kid goes to this school, how do you like it? You know about it. Like, my kid is going to high school, so I look for parents that have high school shirts on.
Mhm.
And I'm asking questions, I'm asking kids, how do you like your school? And then it turns into a whole conversation about like school. So I would just say that this is like a really big.
I'm glad that you said that. I love advertising. If you haven't noticed, there's Perry Street stuff everywhere in here, but also, we have pens and we have things and families will be like, so I have them out in the main office area where it's like, they're like, can I have a pen? I'm like, sure you can. Cause I know you're going to leave it somewhere and then somebody's going to pick it up and they're going to say, where's Perry Street? So that is an absolute great point. And I do agree. And that's something that we, as a team, operations team with Rachel will work on further developing, I should say. Any more questions before we move on? No? All right.
I think what we've been doing over the last few weeks is learning all the procurement rules in the district of Columbia. And we've dug in really deep to all those rules.
Those small feet.
Mhm.
No, it's small, and it keeps coming back. And it keeps coming back. But one of the things that we know right now is we have an after-school provider, Franklin Commons, pre-K through pre-K 4. And we anticipate our payment to them to exceed 25K, which would require a board vote. So we wanted to ask this committee to approve that comment. Most likely it's gonna be Franklin Commons. We're gonna do an RFP. But that is currently the provider, and so to approve up to a $95,000 contract for Franklin Commons or another provider if the RFP shakes out differently for early childhood provider aftercare. So they do our aftercare for pre-K through pre-K 4. I don't know if there's any, we're gonna need to have a vote. This RFP we're putting out Thursday.
Mhm.
And so we will have this RFP out for the next board meeting, and so we would want to do a preliminary vote to allow Portia to sign a contract up to 95K for the school year. for the RFP provider for aftercare for grade 3 through grade 4. Because the next board meeting is not until November, and we will exceed 25K, that we don't want to exceed that limit before then. So we would entertain motion to allow Portia to enter into a contract for an aftercare provider for up to 95K for the year.
So moved.
Second that.
Any abstentions? Any nays?
Quick question, clarification, don't even need to amend the motion, can I just request that we get like a pulse check on who the final is?
Yes,
before you
absolutely.
enter in the Like, if it's someone other than these people, like,
Yes.
just a quick, like.
Sure,
are
absolutely.
people that we, like, because of
Absolutely.
these reasons, yeah,
Yeah.
no need to amend the motion.
That would help.
Good. All right. Facilities investments. Shall I continue? Everybody? Okay, so I wasn't here for this, but I'm here for it now. And I'm able to see, over the summer, when I came in for my interview, the building looked completely different. So we've done a couple of, with some changes. We've revamped the hallway spaces. So you see my friend here where they are branded with our Perry Street colors. Just made it a beautiful space for the kids and families to come into and just feel warm and welcome when they walk in, which is something that I'm really big on. Those are like my priorities, to make sure that when families walk in, they know that they are loved, they know that their students are going to be safe, and they're going to learn. But also we did a great improvement of the rear playground area. So we have picnic benches out there. We have a brand new turf. We have basketball hoops. All of these things are just great things to see or listen to as well. See the kids outside playing, and like I've seen staff eating on the picnic benches. It just like adds to the overall, like the best part about Perry Street is inside, but now it's also outside as well. I can't speak to what it looked like before, but I like what it looks like now. But it's yes. Oh, okay. Yeah.
You give them structure, put things in place, and you just take away their cell phones, and turns out kids will be kids.
Giggling.
It's
Nope.
playing,
Mhm.
like just giggling, having a good time. Of course, like some of the boys every now and then will get into like little basketball scuffles, but I'm talking about like as it relates to the managing the outdoor area, it's so easy to manage now because there are literally no distractions for them. They literally just get to play and do things, no cell phones, just like play.
I would say from a finance perspective, this woman, Kelly, and I pushed to get into the FY24 budget because we wanted to get this in there and started all of this so that it hit FY24.
That makes sense. That's great.
Any questions? Okay. All right. We can move to. Okay, so right now, I'm gonna probably loop Alexandra in for a little support here because I'm still learning about the financials here, as she mentioned. So right now we're currently doing the FY24 audit. So we've been working diligently on providing all of the documents, specifically speaking for myself, finding the documents because they're here. But yeah, so definitely, but also this is helpful to me in learning. So we're finalizing that hopefully this week. And then right now, if there is an enrollment shortfall, which I do not anticipate because I'm going to spend the next couple of weeks working hard on getting out there and getting families to enroll at Perry because it's just the best for their kids. It will impact the budget for FY24 if we are short of the 460 ceiling that we've put out there. But we're working on it. So hopefully we won't have to discuss this further. But we also, the increases in special education populations will offset the revenue variances, but not by like an incremental amount that we'd meet, that the 30 extra kids that we would have would do. So, and then we're waiting on some unbudgeted grants right now, which is one of the high impact tutoring grant. So late September is when we'll hear about that, but we're already getting communications on how to like spend the money if we're awarded it. So I'm using that as a good sign.
I think
Questions?
by the end of September, we'll have a better financial picture that we can then bring the finance committee in. We just need to see how the population things shake out. We do have that budget contingency built in. So we know there's some wiggle room that we can play with.
Questions? All right. Well, thank you.
If there are opportunities that make sense for the board to support recruiting and with some explicit ads.
Oh, yeah.
We
Awesome.
don't know about how we could help, but. Sure.
All right, thank you.
Rachel, go back to governance for a second.
Oh,
We started to do one thing in governance. I just like to see all the pictures. There's that. Pictures. I think one thing we wanted to ask the board, so at the last, so normally in September, we will do our annual meeting and vote on a trustee, chair, vice chair, treasurer, secretary. We did do that vote in June, so we don't need to do that. But one point of, what we did want to bring up is we all voted to have Cindy be interim chair. I think after further discussion, there's, a desire to have her be chair for the year, which does help with some of the paperwork and financials so that the bank can know that she is authorized to sign for the year. So we did want to bring up Sydney as a vote again to be chair for the school year rather than interim chair. And so I did want to bring that up and open that up to discussion.
This is my last year, so it will be a year of transition. Hassan probably hates to be copied on like every single email. I just like the transition, the plan is very much, the plan is still very much a plan, but once I got a sense of like administratively how many things I had to put my name on, like the thought of redoing all of it with for Hassan in just a couple months and Portia coming on board and having to redo it all, like the banking paperwork and everything. I think you just made like an administrative effectiveness decision that this might be okay. So yeah, I'm okay with it. It is. And the transition plan is still very much alive and well.
Is there a motion to elect Sydney for a one-year term to be board chair? Is there a second? All the ayes?
Aye.
Extensions? Nays? Yeah. All right, so just for, context again, Sydney will be in a one-year term for board chair. He's happy. You know, our banker friend. Thank you, Mitchell.
All right, we are back to me. Oh my God, guys, this is Mr. Irving. Y'all, you have got to just one time just walk in his classroom. It is literally just magic happening every time we walk in. Like the kids are so excited. This was our last year's third graders who gave us a run for our money from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. I don't even recognize these kids anymore. You go in that classroom, they're like 100% engaged. He's up, moving around. Like it is just like good teaching, a sight to see. Like, ugh. Whew, okay. Anyway, back to my part. All right, so Kate, formerly Park, not formerly Park. It used to be called Park, and now it's called Kate. We still need to do better in math in both Park or Kate. No, okay, for real. Now I'm gonna give you an overview, starting with the highlights for Kate. We took it last spring. I'm gonna start summer. When I started spring last year, we got our results back. What we found that in ELA, our outcomes outpaced district improvement. So we were, and our economically disadvantaged at-risk kids, our students with disabilities, our ELA population outperformed the charter and state in ELA 4+. So in ELA, we are doing great things at Perry Street, especially because our subgroups are outperforming their peers. Now, when we get to math, we have a lot of work to do in math. We are not outperforming the DC in math. We have work to do. There's a plan. So not only do we have labs this school year, we are going to literally hyper focusing on labs, like what students need to know, what skills they need to know. We are removing calculators so kids have to build up that muscle to start doing math in their head by themselves because they're going to need that muscle when they take CAPE. But our emphasis this school year is going to be on the continued improvement in math. We actually have one teacher who knocked CAPE out of the park last school year in math. But and based off of how well she did on CAPE, we have thought about like what she was doing last school year because she was tracking data every single week. She had students in small groups every single week. You could literally walk her class, she'd tell you where every student was at every single week. And so we're trying to figure out how we can duplicate some of her practices in other math classes with the tracking the data, looking at the data with their assistant principals all the time this school year. So it's not just a quarterly meeting to look at how my students progressing. It's like, no, we're gonna sit down like every other week to look at this to see. We should be able by the end of the school year to predict what students will do well on paper and what students will support, what students, so if we're tracking data and looking at it closely all school year, we should know beyond the shadow of a doubt how well we'll do on math as well, in the winter. Now, so ELA improvement rates exceeded the district. Picture on the same slide. Math, once again, I'm going to stress that for everyone. We are still trying to improve in math. Now, I was talking to my principal friends. I don't know how well everyone did in math over in Washington, D.C. Alexander, I'm not sure you know if there was a trend in math or something that will save me right now. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, we need to improve that.
Yeah, we do, and it's pretty
In
much.
third grade math.
Yeah, and to talk about some of the struggles we had last school year, for example, like third grade math, we struggled finding a third grade teacher all school year, last school year. So it showed in our K data, but this year we have 2 third grade teachers who are both in place, who both have experience teaching, who are showing that third grade can look different. It looks completely different than it did last school year. So we took a hit in third grade last year because we had some teacher retention issues. But this year we don't anticipate that being the case because we do have 2 solid teachers in place right now and enough support in that grade band with people pushing in and taking kids out the labs and all that good stuff. So third grade should be, is good to go this school year. But last year we could take it. Another thing to know.
Kids that are now fourth graders.
You said what?
Are you seeing any, like, holdover impact now that those students from last year are in fourth grade? Like, is it?
Oh my God, the best part, Mr. Irving, the one in the show,
Fourth grade.
he's their teacher.
Mm.
So like, they walked into and this Dr. Cunningham, he was on the slide before, Mr. Irving, he's also their teacher. So they have 2 solid, when I tell you, solid teachers, like, so they walk into a miracle as it relates to like who they're sitting in front of them because they are engaged, like working nonstop. We expect that grade to like soar this school year because they, like, I have goosebumps just talking about it, sorry, but they are in good hands right now with like 2 solid, really good teachers who are just in love with them. So we should see, we should be able to recoup those differences this school year. And then the same for the third grade now, they have like 2 just excellent teachers. We started off the school year with a different third grade teacher, but we made some quick changes. And now we have in place 2 like literally solid third grade teachers who we are confident will be able to like this group go. So if you notice at the bottom where it says PSP, the economically disadvantaged, 68% far exceeds DC, which was at 46%. But here's the thing about Perry Street Prep. When it comes to like subgroups, when it comes to like really drilling down as subgroups, we can really move needles here. Like so when parents come and say, well, my friend said that if my child needs help, then this is the school to come to. That is actually true. That is so true. It is the school to come to. And sometimes, we're sitting here like, yeah, it's the school to come to. But it is the school to come to. And you go to sleep at night and really think about that's what we're here for. It's to move needles like this and to make sure that students who aren't being heard, who aren't being taught, who aren't being seen across the district are being seen here. So I want to say that is like a plus about Perry Street, period. It's just our ability to move subgroups. And, before the pandemic, we were in the news and had awards and all the different door moving subgroups.
I think Rachel, just so folks can really see why you're like so proud of this, right? So if you look at Perry Street, that 25.42, right? So 25% of the students who are at risk,
Oh, sorry.
at Perry Street last year scored a 4 or higher. Okay. The charter average was 18% in the city, and keep in mind how far or how many more students Perry Street serves for economically disadvantaged than the district as a whole. So that's why this is such a source of pride to the work that everyone is doing here and all the teachers, support staff collectively, because the proportion of economically disadvantaged kids here last year, right, we're 20% gap from the DC average. And yet students here, when we just compare at-risk students at Perry Street to at-risk students both at the state and charter sector, that's where we really see the impact of Perry Street and all these support services and the collective work of the community.
Oh, yeah.
You guys know how old I am. So I placed my 8th grader in another school. And she's now in DC.
Mhm.
Okay, so she was in advanced math, she was in advanced English, all advanced classes.
Here.
Yes, here at Perry Street, the lab's phenomenal. I think it's a great idea. It's a great concept. As she said, like the way they excel, they kind of move with the same group. Put her in other school and she's literally over there like, I'm just here so I don't get fined. Because academically, she is far more advanced than where she's at now. Like the way that she, and her teachers are like, no, she was not, how did you do that? She is getting 100s on every single thing that she does. And so to see the difference in how she was taught here and where she is now, it doesn't compare, in my opinion. I think when she got there, it was kind of like, oh yeah, you're going to be kind of just like with the other kids. They went put her in advanced classes and they still haven't. But now, for math, for example, she was in, 8th grade math last year. Well, they put her back in 8th grade math this year and she's acing everything. And so, it's just a testament to like the work that they do here, especially her teachers. Like you can tell the difference, even in her testing score. She grew astronomically last year, and her testing probably was something extreme, like 20 points. I mean, but like it was significant. But just kind of a feel good for like they're doing the work and they're doing a good job at the work, especially that the students are there and they're school up there. But they're having a tremendous impact.
Just a quick question, and I don't know if this question will be better suited at another time, but this is my opportunity. But one of the things that I'm really interested in, as the mission is a college ready, program. This is such a critical time for young folks as they go through their educational careers. I'd be interested in understanding how they fare once they leave 8th grade. And I don't know if that's data that is accessible or that you all look into. I don't believe that, the aspects of the charter school is that's a requirement. But I think for me, that would be really helpful to see, how students fare after 8th grade in that 9th grade space. I'm not expecting all the way to college spaces, but even just on my tape, you said your daughter's living at Georgetown, Johns Hopkins, GW. That got planted here. Yeah, that got planted here. That didn't get planted, 4 years after they left here. So I would be really interested in seeing that. I don't know if that's something that you all have looked into. I think that is also a really good promotional piece around, this is really where you get the core pieces of your educational foundation to excel you to the next phase. So something to think about. But that's kind of where my mind is thinking.
Really quickly, Amir's a senior now. She did go here, middle school, elementary, and childhood. Long story short, she's like 3 points into the autism spectrum, and she has some learning. The way that she learns is a little different, and I always talk to her teachers and whatever. We had a lot of support here. She goes to Elizabeth Seton High School. So she went to All Girls Catholic, where she had to test, she had an essay. It was not just, we got in, type of thing, and I pay you. But she has excelled every year. She even had teachers in the 9th grade say, how did you learn how to take notes? She learned that from Moy. Yes, that's Miss Moy. And not only that, she comes back all the time. And she had a group of girls from Perry Street that when they got to see, she was like pushing everybody to see first of all. And then when they got there, there's a lady here, Miss Knight, that does a group of young girls. When they got there, she was their mentor, their big sister, that's what they call it, while they were there. So they're building community. And I know now there is a initiative for 8th grade, because we talked about, you all were doing something around the schools, where they're going going to.
Ed Fest, is that Ed Fest?
Y'all should talk about that. So I know it has been a thing, because when I was looking for high schools, I was always like, where should we go? What should we do? You know, how, because, you know, PCS is different. You know, you take a wrong turn and it kind of changed the trajectory.
Yeah.
So
And-
I didn't know, yeah. So
And we haven't tracked students well into high school, only the kids who come back, but we do try to track them into high school. So before they leave, we kind of pick where they go. And we sit down with parents and it's a conversation with parents, like, these are the top 5 charter schools. And if you want to go to a public school, only go with these 2. So we're very like intentional about where we send our kids after 8th grade so that they can thrive at. So for instance, like 2 of our kids went to Banneker last school year. A lot of our kids go like to E.L. Haynes and Cap City. Those are like Cap City tier 1 high school charter schools. They're also trying to push them into charter schools as well. But we haven't really tracked like how our seniors are doing right now in high school. More so trying to put them in place in the right high schools.
There's also.
But there's room for that.
Too, right? Siblings, like,
Mhm.
if parents understand, however you guys choose to structure it. I'll say, I've worked with nonprofits and universities on building like what is effectively an alumni program, right? So like under the guise of maintaining community, you do get to track them further. We just built one at work too for our interns, because we want to know, like, okay, so maybe you don't get your offer here or take your offer here, but where do you go in the working world after you graduate? So if we can be of any assistance, I can be of any assistance in helping you structure an alumni program that would help you track them further.
And I guess,
And a donor base, right?
yeah,
Donor base, recruiting base, siblings, family members come behind them. They become walking ambassadors. You become feeders into certain schools
Mhm.
that you like. There's definitely models.
So,
I am very street pride and like alumni little. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
So like that, like, there's a lot of time to put together some strong recruiting material by even my next year. Lot of good material.
and the data points I was thinking was more around, you know, first semester, or first quarter, 9th grade attendance,
okay.
or, you know, a math grade, that's a little bit more, focused, but as I'm thinking about funding opportunities and some of the pieces that are sometimes a requirement of those, you know, how they move from this point to the next, being able to show that, and I wasn't clear if that is something that's accessible.
They have to report back, but we used to, so I went to, small Catholic school, and they incentivized us, like, I went to a K through 8 and then a different 9 through 12. And when we graduated out of 8, they incentivized us to bring our 9th grade report cards back. And so we were offering that up, right? It wasn't accessible. No, my K through 8 school couldn't get to my 9th grade transcript. But if I brought it back, I can't remember what, but as a family, we were incentivized to stay connected to the place that planted some of those really great seeds.
Right.
Something about.
also about
So another slide also that highlights our work in ELA and and our need to do more work in math. And then I just want to highlight one more time that Perry Street we're a subgroup school, we're a school, and we are the school for the kids who are forgotten and the kids who may not be able to learn or learn differently somewhere or can't learn somewhere else. Perry Street is the school for that child, like through and through every child. So I think that we are proud of that. We are going to do a better job this school year of tracking that. And like literally tracking students and their data to figure out like who knows what and like how we're going to move this needle. You think it'll be, yeah, let us know. Does anyone have any questions on how racial cross-trans and improve the math data?
beginning of the year. The changes that have been made in 3rd grade, Asher is, my son, he has 2 strong teachers, and then he has teachers B that followed them from 2nd grade that they have great respect and, you know, admiration for. So although those two teachers are new, they still have their anchor. They have bachelor's this year. They're changing classes even outside of their small groups. So they do ELA with one teacher half the day. And then they do their specials and then they go into their math class and they kind of move around like with this responsibility of taking their, like they have a clear backpack, kind of, it's like a knapsack that they take with their things in it. I think that the expectations are different, and I'm seeing that across like communication, even with the interventionists, as we do with the interventionists with Jennings. And each of the teachers are communicating more, so I don't know if that's to an initiative that you all have. He's aware of his scores, so he told me like I got an 18 on this, and that was really good. I got a whatever, like they are very. I just seen a lot of the second to third grade right now. The social media, I've seen a lot more engagement, because I follow like everything. Even the interventionist has her own like social media where parents can go get resources, so they're like resources and things like that. So I'm just really excited to see kind of the changes that are happening this year. And I know, you know, you come in on board new, there are a lot of things you probably want to put in place too, so, hats off.
I'm friends with everyone.
Oh. I was like, wait, is there a page about me somewhere that I gotta look?
And then, that you're here, like, nothing but good things, you know, just. and talk for us. So, like, they're really happy that you are here, and just the impact from, like she said, this last year to this year, like, you can see it all the way across the board, and like, when I'm here, roaming always all the time, I can see that the interventionists and like, they are really boots on the ground. Because at first I thought Miss Cole was a teacher, and I was like, well, why is he never, he's never in the. But that's the difference. Miss Lopez, I see those all the time. And then the no cell phone thing, I just absolutely love that. And like I said, my daughter's at another school, she was coming here today. 8 notes. I had to pass out notes to her friends here so that they could write her back.
Aw.
They both of them, when they were on the phone this morning, like, they're talking to each other all day. So she's literally on the phone with the same people she's writing notes to, but she knows they can't have their cell phones. So she's like, I need you to get there one time so you can pass them.
Do you have any other like questions or?
Anybody on the line? Bruce was on.
He's still here. Oh. What is it? Yeah.
Good meeting.
Oh, there he is.
There he is.
I'll remove the spotlight so maybe you can see him. He's here.
Here.
I can see you all.
There he goes.
For the committee updates, just if you chair or are on the committee, I talked to Alexandra about, like, obviously getting this first, it's kind of level setting meeting out of the way, but we'll, committee needs to start up in earnest.
Was that directed to me?
No.
Oh, okay. I was saying I can barely hear. I couldn't hear anything.
I said, do you want to move or switch committees? If you do, let us know before October.
Okay, will do.
Okay, yeah. Motion to adjourn today, folks. I get a motion. Motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Great. Give a green room.